All right. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Scott. How are you, sir?
Good. Trying to stay cool. Just out walking the dog and already warm enough to be sweaty. And it's just like,
Yeah.
geez.
Well, that is the time of the year here at the beach, right?
Right. But at least I was walking on the beach, so that's fine. But
Awesome.
well, cool. Well, I'm excited to have another discussion today to deep dive into what your offerings are at Blue Water Advisors and to help lay out how to find the best fit and rather than just looking for
Yeah.
potential job openings on job boards or LinkedIn requests
Posts and
or
things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
there's lots of ways to find opportunities, but ultimately I think what you were telling me offline last week is just you're still getting people to come in and say, hey, Mike, what do you think of this job listing? What do you think? And then you say, well, who do you know there? What do you know about the company? And they're just like, well, no, the job listing, it meets,
Yeah.
my background, right? So I should just apply. And we get, and that's kind of the purpose of this show, the Military Retirement Blueprint, is we have these conversations every day, and we know every day there's a new retiring senior leader who it's their first day retiring and
Right.
getting into the whole career progression mentality.
Everybody has
And
a day one, right? Yep.
right, so we want this show to help you identify shortcuts, hear stories, and Mike shares a lot of particular tips and insights on what they're offering and how to get access to their services. So we're going to go through a lot of that today. But one thing I wanted to show real quick is how to get in touch with us and why you might want to reach out to access some of our tools. I'm about to launch our MRB financial platform or calculator in a way, and this is a full education suite
Yeah.
slash analysis tool. Whoops, that's a little too big.
It's come a long way, Scott. It's looking good. You've put a lot of work into this,
Oh
right? I
yeah,
like.
I've
Yeah.
put a few months, but better than a few years
Yeah.
of doing this. This is something I always wanted to have, and new technology allows us to do it. And so I've taken everything that I have
Right.
conversations about, the questions people ask me about, how should I be thinking about how much income I want to make after the military? How do I make my retirement decisions? How long do I need to work after the military?
Yeah.
We wanted to provide this platform to help you make that data analysis, or at least give you some data points to look at to make that decision. So the big one, of course, is the SBP decision. So we help you analyze, what your costs are going to be, what the payouts might be, what the probability of even getting the payout
Hmm.
would be. And then we really have built in three different tools. One is if you're still kind of making your SBP decision, what do you need to know to help you analyze that? What are the
Right.
probabilities, timelines, and stuff? Middle one is all right. I want to do an alternative to SBP or a supplement. What are some different ways to design that tool? And that's essentially our life insurance design tool. And again, both these
Hmm.
have a. It's not just calculations. I've got a whole education platform in there, so you can learn about these different
Wow.
products and services. Because that's the hard part is as people are trying to make their decision, a lot of all of a sudden that's like, oh, I got to learn a whole new subject matter. I'm trying to find a
Right.
job, and so we get that. So we tried to lay it out here where you can go through it with you and your spouse and make that decision. And then a standard retirement income planner calculator. How much do I have enough saved, or will I have enough saved? If I project out 10, 15, 20 years to be able to maintain my lifestyle, what kind of adjustments would I have to make?
Hmm.
So that's what that's all about. And, of course, there's just a lot to think about when you're thinking about retirement planning, not just
Right.
getting out of the military, but then, retirement, the full retirement. We often say the financial guidance given to a lot of military when they're on active duty is for the full retirement. and
Mhm.
we should be planning for the current retirement, the military retirement. So
Right.
we take all that into account. And so when this launches, I hoping to get it out this week.
It's
Uh,
exciting.
yeah, the best way to get access to it will be on our military retirement blueprint Substack here. So you can go to militaryretirementblueprint.com, or search for it on Substack. And this is where you can access all the old episodes for Mike and I, whether, everything Mike's talked about, from networking strategies, how to do resumes, how to do LinkedIn profiles. Um, we've
Scott, I think I need to get an updated link, right? I don't think I have this link embedded in Blue Water Digital, right? So remind me to do that, and I'll reach out to Blair, our IT programmer, and have him update that, because I think this is where we want to take members, right? So
Yeah. This is we're still working on getting it set up and organized, but it's functional. You can use the search
I mean,
bar
because
to
you've got the repository of all of our discussions, right
right.
here, right? So yeah, that's
And
great.
I
Huge
just
resource.
I just
Huge
pinned the
resource.
link in the comments. So
Oh,
we'll
great.
link the calculators, and we're going to set it up where we can have categories to choose from and stuff. You can also check out my wife Jen's podcast that's geared towards military families. She's got a lot of interviews with military spouses. So that's something useful to share.
Jen and
So
I have a conversation on there as well too,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just wanted to share, how to access our resources. If you're watching this for the first time, yes, we have a YouTube channel and all that, but this is going to be the easiest place to get access to it,
Nice.
and then be able to even, get access to the various books I have out there about military retirement.
Oh,
So,
fantastic.
and then we're also linked to Blue Water Digital.
Yeah.
And this has been something you've been working on for a long time,
Oh,
and really excited that you said you got a lot of members, signing in to use it. And one of the resources we're going to show today, your job market analysis
yeah.
cheat sheet, and that's where you're going to go through to kind of hit on today's topic.
Yeah.
Talk about how people, who's able to get access, how do they get access, what's the Blue Water
Well,
Digital for?
yeah, we're really excited about it, right? And as members, pursue Blue Water, right, and attend a cohort or attend a virtual cohort, or in person, part of that registration and engagement there allows our members to gain access to Blue Water Digital. And this is the way we explain it to members as they step into our cohorts. They become very familiar with that group of individuals, right? And those partnering professionals that participate in the lunch roundtable, those career progression consultants, myself, Steve Weeman, Dave Wadelick, whoever comes to the table, scheduled to be a part of that cohort, they become very tight with that group. And Blue Water Digital is the technology that really opens members' eyes to, yes, very powerful, grouping at a cohort level. But you know what? Let me introduce you to 50 other cohorts. You with me? I mean,
Hmm.
that's how big Blue Water has grown. And Blue Water Digital is the tool, right? The technology in the middle that brings insight to all members, to all these other cohorts. And so the experience that members have when they get access to Blue Water Digital, you can see our entire membership. You can see where individuals have landed. If individuals at these various different industries and companies have landed, they've submitted a landing report, and you can request access to that and review it. You also get mentorship from myself and our staff on compensation, right? We have a wealth of understanding. It's not a guess as far as what companies are able to compensate you for a specific role and responsibility. We've got the data, right, and other analytics as well, You also gain access to our content, our repository of content, video tutorials that we have access to. And really, it's a great tool. We've recently recorded our messages, right? We had a company come in and spend a day with us as we were given a live cohort, and they recorded that message. So members can go in there and review messages, et cetera, as they desire. Now, the exciting feature, we just launched version 2 of this. And so, Scott, if you want to take your cursor just around see the request access button there. Yeah, the request access. So if you are unable to attend a cohort in person or unable to attend a virtual cohort due to proximity or schedule or whatever it happens to be, you can still request access. And request access takes you to a screen and you fill out your information and everything. And we get a chance to kind of meet you virtually, right? You also get a chance to bring to our attention, hey, an existing Blue Water member who you know is recommending you to gain access to the platform. And if we approve that, right, we allow you access to the platform at an entry level, which means you can upload a landing report if you desire to do that. You can have a little bit of access. But just as every other member registers for an in-person or a virtual cohort, you'll be afforded that opportunity. If you want to register for further access, you can. You can gain a premium access and gain access to the entire Blue Water network, right? And all the content and all the benefits that we just briefly described there. So we're really excited that we've got this capability now, and really hats off to our partners at Marathon Consulting. They've been great. Tom Marsden, who's a vice president there, and Blair Idra, he's been a super programmer for us and setting up all the the workflows and associated content here on the platform. So we're really excited about it, Scott. It's come a long way. This has been years, right? Slowly coming online, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we've just collected a massive amount of data, and we have an enormous amount of analytics and insight that we draw from members' profiles, how long it takes them to pursue, what industry they land at, compensation, et cetera, right? And so now when we have a membership that is very rapidly exceeding 500 senior leaders on the platform, we can look out, writ large and draw analytics. How long is it going to take you to find your next success, right? Analytically, what do these individuals pursue? Is it defense industry, government contracting, commercial sector? Like, we know those answers analytically, right? So when new members step in and they want to have the conversation and they say, hey, Mike, what can I expect, right? How long is it going to take me to find my next job? From the time I pursue this company to a signed written, offer letter, how long is that going to take, Mike? What does this look like? Do members negotiate compensation? What percentage of members do? What percentage of members find success? What is the makeup of an interview? Analytically, what do members experience? So I love having those conversations. It's not opinion based, right? I can go, well, the data shows this.
Mm-hmm.
I love having, somebody ask me a question like, hey, Mike, how long is it going to take? Well, let me pull out a sample size based on 200 individuals who are in the same service as you, the same rank as you, same seniority as you. This is what they experienced. Now, you can infer from that what you will, right? But it's data at that point, right?
Yeah. And then,
I just love that.
yeah. And then it's like, well, I'm actually looking at a couple positions at this firm or this company.
Yeah.
Hey, has anybody already landed there? Oh, look, here's their landing report. Here's their contact information. Go
Yes.
have a conversation. So the built-in
And
networking and
exactly. And before
pre-recon.
people make the wrong assumption, they go, well, great, Mike, you and the Blue Water team, you just tried to recreate LinkedIn. That is not what this is, you guys, right?
No.
You're not going to get this level of detail, analytical insight, off of another platform. And here's the great thing about this. This is our platform. We police it. Not everybody gets access. You've got to be the right member, the right seniority, the right pedigree for us. Once you request access, right? And if this is not a good fit for you, we're going to tell you this is not a good fit. And it's probably not a good stop for you. If it's a good fit, we're going to encourage you to come aboard, right? Because we know it's a good fit, and we know the data that we have collected is applicable to you. And when you start talking analytics, right, and host audience, it's important that you keep that host audience. What's the word I'm looking for? Right, the same, right? You don't want to add in deviations from the host audience because the data becomes maybe not as accurate. We work hard on bringing in, we know who our members are, and our members know who we are, right? And the data and analytics that we draw support those members' experiences as they step in. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
And
excited.
so speaking of, doing the and market analysis, yeah, that's going to
Right.
be a great way to start. But either way, you're going to have to be doing your own, market analysis outside on your own, or what we want to talk about today is, this is one of the tools you can get from inside
Right.
Blue Water Digital. But you said you wanted to, hit on some of the main points in
Yeah,
this guide. We can, scroll through it as is useful. But yeah, why don't you kind of let us know what's the main challenge when when it comes to, hey, I found
sure.
this job opportunity that
Sure.
you're finding people are having.
Well, so let me just reinforce what we were just previously talking about, right? The platform in Blue Water Digital is a great place uh, to to start, right? It is your professional network. Keep in mind now, wearing the uniform for 15, 20, 25, 30, 30 plus years, often the at will work environment that members will pursue, you don't have a robust network to support getting you to that success. You with me?
Hmm.
Like I've just wore the uniform for 30 years. I want to get out and go to work for Amazon. I want to get out and go to work for Microsoft. I might know one or two people there, but it's not like I've spent 30 years developing robust relationships with people that are all in and around that industry. You with me? So Blue Water Digital is the growing professional network for members to step into. We know you don't have the network, to bridge the gap to get you to your next location. We do. And it's everybody on the platform has been through the Blue Water cohort virtually or has requested access and gone through it digitally or in person. They were all senior leaders, right, wearing the uniform who found success and are now in pursuit of their next success. So, in other words, the point I'm trying to make is there are so many similarities of this like minded grouping that we've put together. It becomes very powerful in execution, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, and the follow on discussion here is when members reach out to us, Scott, it is, what would I say? It is not uncommon. In fact, it is very common that they don't even know where to start. They're like, "Hey, Mike, I want to reach out. I want to have a conversation, but I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know." In fact, I just had a conversation a little less than a week ago, and the individual goes, "I'm not sure if I'm supposed to start reaching out or do I wait for them to reach out to me?" Like he goes, "What is step one?" Like he seriously just threw it out and he goes, "What's step one? I don't even know where to start." And while what we want to focus on and talk about here today is the market analysis, is the deep diving both quantitatively and qualitatively these opportunities that individuals come across and how to do that. But just let me quickly talk about step one. Step one is getting introspective with yourself, with
Mm.
your inner circle around you, and going, not, hey, what do we want to do? No, 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 no. The question you need to ask yourself is, what is important to you? in this next step, right? And most of our members, myself included, and probably you, we don't like the touchy-feely introspection
Yeah.
part of this. We don't like to, hey, how do you feel about this, right? You know, that kind of stuff. We're like, I just want to pass, skip that. I just want to get busy and pursuing the thing, right? And what we caution our members, and we've got data and analytics that support this. If you skip this first step and go straight to pursuing what you think may be a good thing for you, more often than not, it is not. And you will be unfulfilled and you will be thrust out of it either by some circumstance or by your own means going, I hate this. I don't even like getting out of bed in the morning to do this. I'm not doing that. Life's too short. I'm gone. And you'll be thrust right back to step one again. And you'll go, well, what's important to me?
Hmm.
Because if you don't know what the big rocks are in your life, you won't have a yardstick to compare this to. You with me? So once you have the big rocks in your life, then that's step one. Now, next step is, okay, I want to start looking at these companies and I want to start looking at industries. Mike, I still don't know what I want to do, but now I know what's important to me. And I go, okay, you've got a good firm foundation of step one. This is important to you in the next phase of your life. Now, let's get busy and let's log on to Blue Water Digital and let's start having conversations with a myriad of individuals in various different industries. And I kind of bucketed up this. I want you to have some discussions with people in big defense. Think the Boeings, Lockheed Martins, Northrop Grumman's, that kind of stuff. Just
Hmm.
have conversations with them, right? Ask them what they like about it. Ask them how they navigated there, right? You're not quite focused on getting a job yet. You just want to understand, can you see yourself in this role and responsibility? That's your first goal in your market analysis, right? And so defense, government contracting, and then in the commercial sector, right? In big corporate America, right? Have those conversations and just begin to think and hear the responses. Go, yeah, I could see myself doing this, or no, I really couldn't. Right? That's step two, right? As you're now looking out there, but when people are doing this and having conversations, they often get, and I'll say, from a life, back there, fast hands in the cockpit, right? There's nothing usually, there's rarely anything good that comes out of having fast hands in the cockpit, right? You want
Hmm.
to be very methodical about what it is you're touching and doing and everything. The same is true for your market analysis. You need to be deliberate, and we have a process, and we do walk our members through that. But in summary, the document that you threw up, the content that it walks members through, Scott, most of our members, and I don't mean this disparagingly, they don't even understand how to research an industry or company. They're like, Mike, how do I even do this? I don't even know what resources are available to me. And I'm going to go, well, one of the resources that we expose members to right away are documents that are called company profiles, right? And we encourage members that once they start to narrow down their target grouping of, hey, I could see myself doing this role or responsibility for this company in this industry, or these two or three companies in this industry. And I'm excited about that. I've had enough networking informational discussions. As I research this, I can now understand, I kind of go, yeah, I could see myself doing that. Now you want to start deep diving quantitatively, right? The specifics about that company. How was the company formed? How does it generate its profit and loss? Who are the major actors within the company? Were there mergers and acquisitions along the way? This is the company history, right? And a product that we expose our members to, a company profile. And there are a number of companies that do this. MarketLine, IBIS, Proactive, Worldwide, Zippia. There's a lot of companies. PitchBook's another one. That these are resources that you can go to, and And often, not always, but some of them are paid services, but they all offer a little bit of free service on the front side. You gain quick access, pull out the information that you're looking for, and you can benefit from that, right?
Mhm.
So it's an important research and a way to go on the internet and ask the questions or ask for a specific document on a company, right? And then the number two bullet there on the content is check with us. Reach out to Blue Water. Hey, do you guys have any information on company Microsoft? Do you have any information on a company, I don't know, Shield AI, Palantir, right? Anduril, right? Some of these new and emerging tech companies that are out there, reach out to us, right? That's what we do. We run in these circles and we have a lot of insight, right? So if you scroll down, Scott, it goes through the bit of content there, goes through some other options, and it lists a lot of these resources, right? Additional resources for quantitative assessments. Zippia is a great source. And I like Zippia because the way that the platform breaks up the information, and they derive a lot of their information from the federal or the Bureau of Labor, which that data kind of removes the high highs and the low lows, and it just gives you a good median look at who are the largest companies in this state, who are the fastest growing, right? What companies compensate their employees at a higher level of compensation than others, right? It'll give you a lot of different ways to kind of break out companies like this. And you can really pull some gems out of Zippia, right? They give you some really good insight, and it's absolutely worth your time as you are beginning now to research quantitatively those companies and industries that you've necked down, right?
Yeah, because I'm guessing a lot of people are just like, well, what companies, which,
Yeah, they
there's
don't even
obviously
know.
hundreds of thousands of companies out there, but how do you even know where to start?
They don't
Right.
even know, right? And we encourage members. Really, the first step is when you reach out to Blue Water and you come on Blue Water Digital. We all like to compare ourselves to what? Hey, Mike, other people that look just like me who were in aviation, who retired as an '06 with 30 years of active duty service. Hey, Mike, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all want to know what other people are doing just like us. And Blue Water Digital, that platform allows me very quickly to sort all that data, and I can go, okay, yep, here's your list, and here's what all these individuals who look just like you are doing. If you wanted to know, right? And you're like, oh, look, hey, you mean this guy went to work for Microsoft, or he's with Johnson and Johnson, or he's with this guy? You're like, yeah, there are people out finding successes in a lot of different areas, right? And so that helps build the right mindset, right? We talked about informationals, talent acquisition professionals, Bureau of Labor statistics. The next one down here below, as you look at
Actually,
the
can I stop you real
sure,
quick and,
yeah,
dive into the recruiters and talent
yeah,
acquisition
sure,
professionals? Because obviously, that can be a great resource. And I know you don't position yourself as a recruiter, right?
no,
You're not that. But we also got to remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, that recruiters and talent acquisition, they've got a list of spots they're looking to fill. So they're looking for bodies,
exactly right.
and yeah, they're gonna get to know you and everything. But they ultimately, what Mike, I think you're saying is, you've got to do that qualitative analysis first, so you're
Yeah,
not just on somebody else's agenda.
it's exactly right. And maybe our thoughts on this are a bit unique, but this is how we think about it, Scott. Like, I recognize that individuals in the recruiting and talent acquisition realm, they run in these circles all day long. They understand what companies are looking for. They have a lot. They're very current on a lot of trends, and I
Hmm.
acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But what we tell our members is be cautious. Don't give away your decision making authority by letting somebody else tell you what they think is a good fit for you. You with
Mm.
me?
Yeah.
Like, think about it, because they're going to line up all day long and they're going to say, yeah, but Scott, I want you to do this over here for this company. And I think you'd be great in a role like that. Okay, thank you for your opinion. I'll decide whether or not I think that's a good fit for me. But I still acknowledge that as members potentially engage individuals that run in these circles, they can be still a valuable
Oh, for sure.
resource, right? Put them to work for you. Hey, take a look at my resume. What do you think of it? If they're willing to give you feedback, sure, right?
And
Take their
and I'm guessing some
no problem.
companies are using, or they have their own internal recruiters or whatever. So you're going to have to go this route one way or the other.
Yeah, if you do, again, we encourage members to network kind of behind the scenes. We want you to have a champion on the inside rather than going through the very friction laden front door through
Mm,
the recruiting, HR, talent acquisition team. That can be a very friction laden team. And more often than not, what the hiring manager is looking for within the company may not be what the talent acquisition professional is allowing access into the company. You with me?
yeah.
So there is value to networking and building a champion behind the scenes who can pull instead of you trying to push. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
very, very effective, right? But again, a lot of members come to us like SEC information, right? The Securities and Exchange Commission. All companies, right, are publicly traded companies out there have to abide by these laws, regulations out there, and they have to file certain reports. Now, again, they can be long documents and they can be challenging to read, but I promise you, if you just research a company's name and look for their SEC information, there's a wealth of insight that you have about the company that you are pursuing. You're saying, yeah, Mike, why do I care? Okay, well, the way I think about it this way is, wouldn't you rather get on a boat that is floating well or rising instead of jumping on a boat that is sinking?
Yeah.
Right? Like, absolutely. So do your homework. Don't wait to arrive in a company and then all of a sudden realize, oh my gosh, this company is struggling to stay afloat, right?
Right.
Don't do that. You want to understand the health and welfare of the company, and this is a means to kind of do that. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people go, Mike, come on, that's probably the 99th percent. Like, that doesn't happen every day. Listen, you guys, it happens more than what you think. And you're going, well, I'm looking in big defense. That's not going to happen to me. Oh, really? Take a look at Boeing. But I love Boeing. Boeing's a great company, and I have nothing but great things to say. And our nation needs them in our industrial base. They have gone through some real challenges. And
Yeah.
this is information that would educate you on what those challenges look like for any other company as well, too. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is where these new tools like ChatGPT become handy because
oh,
you can help
yes.
say, all right, I don't know how to read this SEC,
Yeah.
report, help
What are the
me.
major takeaways to me?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
As a
I am
prospective employee, what
exactly.
are the major take? And the technology will absolutely distill it down into palatable information that's meaningful to you. So,
Right.
again, we highlight that for members, right? Scroll a little bit further out there. PitchBook, Crunchbase, Dun and Bradstreet, right? Bloomberg, Forbes, IBIS. They're great resources, and most members don't even realize these resources and how impactful they are. But again, a lot of these resources, yes, you got to pay to play, but almost all of these resources, Scott, offer up, right, on this side of the firewall, information about what it is you're looking for that is absolutely worth you taking a look at. It'll tell you when the company was established, right? It'll tell you some insight about the C-suite running the company. It'll tell you how the company has performed, profit and loss wise, over the last number of years. These companies it is their business to assess the performance of other companies. And in this
Hmm.
case, a company that you're interested in pursuing. So they can be very valuable as you look to do this. And here's just some resources that most members aren't even aware of that are out there to tap into. So
It's funny. It reminds me of when people get into individual stock investing versus just using mutual funds or TSP or something.
right.
And if you're not, they treat it like a pro. If they're a day trader or
Yeah.
or call themselves I am an investor, then or even an institutional investor, independently, they're going to do this level of research and they'll pay big money for
Absolutely.
insider access to tools or newsletters to get insight because it might tip them off to something and be like, ooh, this isn't a good stock to invest in. So if you're
Yeah.
talking about investing,
Yes.
your time of taking a
Yeah.
new job to prevent you from potentially, just taking a job because it looks good in the salary and the benefits and even the role,
Yeah.
and yet just to come find out they might have to do a massive layoff,
And
shortly.
and that's exactly right, Scott. We've had members go to work for companies, and now all of a sudden the company is letting hundreds, thousands of people go. Look at Facebook Meta. We had an individual there that, they went through two massive layoff rounds within the last maybe 24 months. I think one was 11,000, another one was 15,000. Like those are significant layoffs, right? And and the point is resources like this before you start having meaningful conversations about pursuing a role of responsibility with the company, we want you to be knowledgeable on the company and do this research first. You with me?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Well,
if you're getting serious about pursuing a company for the means of employment. Not, I'm not talking about the initial networking going, hey, what do you like about the company, right?
yeah.
How did you land there, right? What's the best part of your job, right? I'm not talking about the exploratory, could I see myself in this role or not? I'm talking about, hey, Scott, I'm really enjoying our conversation. I just want to let you know I think my hard and soft skills that I'm bringing to the table would be a great attribute for your team in this role of responsibility. And I'd love to have conversations further in this regard, right? Like complete different, you're
Hmm.
still networking, but complete different purposes, right?
Yeah.
You need to do your homework here on these resources before you get serious about closing the deal. I share in our in-person cohort, some personal pain that I experienced in a number of conversations where the hiring manager quickly threw out, asking me, well, Mike, what do you think about this and that? And it is homework that I should have been knowledgeable on. But in that moment, I was not knowledgeable. It was
Yeah.
education to me at that point. And you never want to find yourself learning, right, in that environment, right? You don't want to be caught off guard. And you have to do your market analysis right
Right.
here first.
Yeah.
And this is how you do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Facebook, you mentioned their recent layoffs. It's probably because he was freeing up cash for all this. He's now offering $100 million a year to hire high end AI developers
Think about it.
away from
Crazy.
so not suggesting everybody try to go become an AI expert. Clearly, that's a unique skill set to earn
Sure.
$100 million. But that's what they're able to do. It's like, hey, if we fire these 1,000 people, what
Right.
else could we do with that with one person who's highly skilled or whatever? So that's just the reality of the
Yeah.
economic environment we're entering right now, right?
Well, scroll down a little bit more and we'll just hit the highlights and we can close out on this. But again, this
Yeah.
just, makes members aware of how to access specific resources that are out there. GovTribe is another one, GovWin. And again, people who are familiar going, Mike, these are paid services. I'm not that rich. I don't have this. Yes, but they all offer, right, on this side of the firewall, insights to companies, right? Free services for a couple of searches, and it's invaluable, right? And we encourage our members to do that. You can also go to your alma mater, whether it's Naval Academy, George Washington University, Oregon State University, whatever it happens to be. go back. All universities pretty much these days have business libraries online. And for some nominal fee, I think in my case, it was $25 a year, you can gain a online access to the business library, right? And you can go on and you can access a lot of these tools that are out there. Some public libraries have access to these tools. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, where can I get access to IBIS company profiles? And it'll give you a list of locations, right? But the point is, these are some good leads for individuals, to research, right? These things. I think I've got a reference, if you scroll down further, the Federal Procurement Data System, FPDS. That is another system that is you can go to FPDS and type in a government contractor company name, and it'll tell you how many contracts they have, right? It'll give you an idea for the top line revenue that company's able to generate. That's an important thing, right, for you to be aware of, right? As you're pursuing some of these companies for your next success, right? Long-term employment. So CAUSE is a really great database for those that are interested in nonprofits. You can pull that up and it lists nonprofits by state and information about these nonprofits. And if you are passionate about this, we've found this tool to be very, very valuable. I had no
Oh,
idea
wow.
this tool existed.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
it
either.
is incredibly powerful and a roll up of nonprofits because we do have a lot of members who are passionate about nonprofits,
Sure.
but they really don't even know what nonprofits are in the local area around here. This is a great way to at least begin to understand some of your options if this is what your next success looks like, right?
Yeah, I didn't
Very,
know.
very helpful. So, what we try to do is we know it's a homework project for members. We know that they have to come in and begin to kind of research it. Most of them, Scott, and I don't mean this disparagingly, please forgive me, but most of them don't even know how to begin to research this.
Right.
And here's the answer. Here's the tools that you can pitch into, and now go forward and identify. We even go through at the front of that document. Be knowledgeable on these areas within these companies, and this is how you find that information, right? And then get busy pursuing the company and networking as you're looking to bring your hard and soft skills to the table for that company and raising the bar and delivering results, but you're knowledgeable, right? And it can be very, very powerful for members, right, to do that first.
Yeah.
So again, just for everybody listening, right, that content, that's very representative of the type of content that we put together for, members here at Blue Water. We're passionate and we say it a lot of different ways. One of the ways we like saying is there's no fog of war, right? When you step out of uniform and into this new at will work environment, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how to do this. Do I wait for somebody to come to me? Do I got to go out there? Should I ask them for a job right away or not? Or how to do this? It's like, how much can I expect to make? How long is this going to take me to do this? What's step one? What's step two? I don't even know. It's foggy, right? It is foggy. And step into Blue Water. There's no fog of war. Here's the process. Here's your network. Here's your professional network. Here's the keen insights. Here are the analytics we have. Here's the right mindset. Here's how to approach this. Here's how to do these things. Because the last thing I'll say, Scott, about this, and I'll stop talking, but think about it. Anybody can tell you what they think you need to do. Just let that sink in. Anybody can say, this is what I think you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's very few people that can say, this is how you do it and why you're going to do it this way. And that's where the currency, relevancy, and credibility comes to the table. Unless you have all of that, you're just a plethora of individuals in the ocean of goodwill telling people what they need to do. Very few people can tell you how to do it and why to do it that way. And that's what you should be looking for. Those resources that can tell you how to do this, right? And why you're doing it this way, because that's credibility, right?
Yeah.
That's credibility.
No, I appreciate you, making sure that, all the details are covered. Um, One thing it made me think about is, during your qualitative step, when you're trying to figure out what's important
Yeah.
to you, a lot of people just go to the, one of those self-assessment type tests and
Yeah.
say, what's my personality, and think that that's going to answer those questions. And a tool I've used in the past that might help with this is called self-authoring. And whether it's this one or another one or
Right.
something like this, it this is a program that takes you through kind of a journaling exercise to go through your past, even pre-military past, to say, hey, what did you like doing? What was important to you before you had orders and SOPs dictating
Sure.
your daily life? It's like
Right.
now's your opportunity to decide that, so you aren't just a cog in the wheel. Um, and I was also having a conversation with a client yesterday who had retired almost a year ago, but he's like, you know what? I just happened to be, at an event, and I sat down next to an admiral that I had previously worked with, a retired admiral, and she told him, "Hey, if you can, take a year before you dive into all this stuff."
And
And
really probably just get enormously introspective, right? Yeah.
right, that just let your mind clear or whatever, and maybe not everybody's in a position to do that,
Right.
but just curious what your thoughts are, on that approach. It's like, hey, if you can get
Yeah.
your cash flow aligned or your lifestyle to the point, or hey, you're making your retirement income, getting some good VA disability.
Yeah.
If you're not overextended, what does that allow you to do?
Well, I in execution and in concept, I'm supportive.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit reluctant to say take a year or take
yeah,
5 months or take a month or some, because it's different for everybody. What I've
right.
found, rather the deliverable, I would say, is I need you to be introspective. And if that takes you a year, then take a year. If it takes you 5 months, take 5 months, right?
Sure.
Like, develop or design your career progression and then do your market analysis to narrow down what it is you think is going to be fulfilling. I absolutely agree with that. And I think in your story, that's the same deliverable. I think very quickly, if I was talking to that individual, we would agree and align
Hmm.
that that was the intent of just throwing out take a year. Really, it's take enough time for you to get an adequate design and fully understand if what you're looking at pursuing is going to be fulfilling to you. Because now we do have the data. If what you are pursuing is not fulfilling to you, listen, I tell our members this all the time. I don't care if they're paying you a gajillion dollars a year. You will not stay.
Hmm.
Our members are not solely motivated by compensation. It is other things. It is meaningful work in a productive environment, surrounded by other like-minded, individuals, all trying to achieve a common cause, right? Those are the things that motivate, our membership, right? Opportunities to take this, what I've learned, and make a team better, right? And mentor and lead this team to follow on success now in the profit and loss world instead of the training readiness or warfighting realm, right? Those are the actions. It's not about you're going to give me a bunch of money. Maybe for a little bit it is, but that's not long standing, right? And going to keep you. If you hate getting out of bed every morning to pursue this thing, eh, compensation is not going to change that for you, right? You're still going to hate it because it's a toxic environment for whatever reason. So I love the idea and I love doing that. And there are all kinds of tools, right? I encourage Sarah Cummings, right, who is, a great resource, in executive mentorship and counseling and getting your head around what your next success looks like and how to approach these things, and how to be better time management, right? And how to pursue this. She's a great resource to talk to, right? And we should reach out to her again. I haven't chatted with Sarah in a while, but I know she just does wonderful things. Her heart's in the right area, right? And much like your heart's in the right area as well, too, when it comes to building a war chest and managing and navigating survivor benefit plan and TSP and all these kind of things, right?
Mm.
Yeah, those are important steps. And so some amount of time should be devoted to that. Most of the time, I will tell you, stereotypically, and you'll laugh when I say this, our members don't want to do that stuff. They just want to get busy and give me a job, right? They just want to go right to the thing. And I'm like, whoa, hey, hold on here, right? And your dad would probably be throwing a flag out on the play, right? In the old coaching scenario, right? But it's like, hey, no fast hands in the cockpit. Slow down. Don't skip these early steps, because if you do, you risk, right? You're probably at 100 times greater risk of not being fulfilled when you land, in comparison to somebody who spends time doing a little bit of design, a little bit of the market analysis, and go, hey, I think these things are good fits, because if I do them, my big rocks still stay in place.
Yeah.
I'm not having to sacrifice. And that's a good fit, right? That's a good fit. So yeah, I love the discussion, and I love the point.
Awesome. Well, all right, Mike. Well, no, thanks for sharing all that. And for everybody out there, again, if you want to watch our previous episodes in various different topics Mike hits on for career progression, or stuff I talk about with
Building the war
survivor
chest.
benefit plan.
I'm excited about your tool too, Scott. I really am. I want to get some people on that and get some feedback for you, right? It looks really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I want to be done with it, of course. But you know what it's like building a digital platform.
We're
It's
never really done with
it's
it, right?
yeah, unfortunately. Well, it's like building anything. It's like, there's always a tweak to be made or whatever.
Yeah.
But either way, we've got tons of resources on the military-retirementblueprint.com website, where you can check out, various topics we hit on, and you sign up and get a part of the newsletter so we can send you updates. And yeah, Mike, I know you got a cohort next week, so we won't
And
be.
it's a busy summer, Scott, right? Next week, cohort down at Booz Allen corporate office, July 30th, right? We start a week later our virtual cohort in the month of August. End of August, we're right out to Tailhook, right, in Reno. Really excited about that. We come right back, and then you're joining me on our annual trip right back up to the Naval Academy in Annapolis for another cohort on early September, 10th and 11th, right? And then, so we're about starting right now at a sprint, right? We've got to knock out 3-4 big events coming up here in the next 6 weeks, and we're really excited to do that. Really increase a lot of awareness about Blue Water, what it is we're doing, and bring some more individuals into the network, and start helping those senior leaders, right, in their next success, pursuit of their next success. So I'm looking forward to it all. Thank you.
Good. And it looks like I'll be going to Nashville in just after the Annapolis trip to the West Point Alumni Entrepreneurship Conference.
Now that's similar to the one we did up in DC last year, but it's in Nashville now, right?
It's in Nashville, and why it says, it's West Point Alumni, anybody can go. And I think it's a unique opportunity. Well, it's not a job fair. It's a bunch of entrepreneurs. These are people that run companies, or they might be smaller, some, but all sorts of people show up there, and it's kind of a non-traditional approach, but it's just straight networking, because entrepreneurs are always looking to meet more people. So I think that's kind of low-hanging fruit for job seekers to better explore opportunities. So hit me up if you're interested in learning more about that. And
and Nashville's a great city.
Thanks, lad. Appreciate you watching.
Yeah, excellent. No,
all right,
Nashville's a great place. So
yeah, right. and you're in Nashville, so I'm sure it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, thanks for hosting again, Scott. Enjoyed the conversation.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Everybody take care, everyone.
All right. Cheers.
See ya.